when you think of a domain name .com, as a business, we really struggled to get a .com domain name. We ended up having to buy, I think, CoinCompass.com, didn't we?
That's quite a bit.
And that's what you find. We didn't have to. We could have gone .io. You could have gone .co.nz, .com.au. But everyone wants the .com because that's what's recognizable. That's what has the network effect. And that's what Bitcoin is. Bitcoin is a .com. Everything else, kind of falls by the wayside. Doesn't have that network effect.
This is the Bitcoin Basics podcast with your host Ferris, that's me, and Gordon from CoinCompass.com. We're Bitcoin advisors and educators supporting business and individual investors to safely buy, store, and control their private keys, Bitcoins. This podcast is strictly educational and is not intended to be financial, investment, or legal advice. Full disclaimer in the show notes and at the end of this episode.
Let's go then.
Okay.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to another Bitcoin Basics podcast with me, Gordon, and Faris. I'm still at the beach. Faris, where are you?
I'm in my bunker. We're in New Zealand, and tonight we enter level 4 self-isolation.
Ooh, level 4. So let's do a proof of recording before we get going. The block time or block height is 622,871. It is March the 25th at the moment, and the price is 6,651, at least according to Bitstamp.
So everyone, what we're doing is we're going back to basics here at CoinCompass, in that we realize that there's a lot of questions we're still getting, which are addressed in a lot of our writings, but we figured a lot of people will be stuck at home for at least the next 4 weeks. So we're doing 30 days of Bitcoin, as in 30 days of understanding the bare bones, the skeletons of Bitcoin. So what we've done is we've asked people to submit questions. What is it about Bitcoin you don't understand that you would like us to explain to you? So Gordon, what question do we have for tonight? Oh, and sorry, before we play that, Gordon, sorry guys, just a reminder is please submit questions if you do have them. Go to coincompass.com/ask and upload a question, and we will answer it, and we won't reveal your name or your location. It'll be anonymous. And there's no such thing as a stupid question when it comes to Bitcoin, or a simple one or an easy one. Please ask anything. Sorry, Gordon.
Absolutely. So I'll go ahead and play those questions now.
What is the difference between different coins?
I noticed other than Bitcoin, there are also other cryptocurrency in different names. So in comparison with Bitcoin and other cryptocurrency, or even among the different cryptocurrencies, what are the differences? What are the main traits of differences between all these different cryptocurrency, and what makes them unique for their own kind?
Thanks. Great questions. So Faris, do you want to have a first go at it?
Yeah, so we get this quite often, and I actually get this from people who are in the finance industry, and the question does tend to be focused more around what is the value in Bitcoin if more can be created, if different ones can be created. So the main thing there is, there's two key things to understand with Bitcoin. So number one is it's open source, meaning the technology, the blockchain that created Bitcoin is readily available to the public. So anyone can go ahead and create their own coin. So I can, Gordon can, but the trick is you need people to want to buy it, mine it, basically put their worth into it. So with Bitcoin, the blockchain itself, what it is basically a lot of people who put their computer power, their electricity into saying, I believe in this thing. So I'm going to buy a computer, I'm going to buy a miner, and I am going to put my money into it. And that's been happening for over 10 years now. So a lot of people have followed this Bitcoin because they believe in its store value. They believe in the fact that it is a currency that can be transferred anywhere in the world within a few minutes. That's one aspect, is the network effect. There's basically a lot of people behind it. The second aspect is the fact that only 21 million Bitcoins will ever be created. A lot of these other coins, they printed so many of them all at once, even hundreds of millions to billions in some case. So this two main things with Bitcoin is the network effect, the fact that you've got a capped supply, only 21 million created. And there's actually another really important thing, which is the people working behind it. So yeah, the main thing for me as well is that with Bitcoin, it's very clever people working on it. And when I say very clever people, that's an understatement. It's the world's foreknown cryptographers, computer scientists, computer engineers, mathematicians. They all got into Bitcoin voluntarily. They started businesses. They didn't get jobs. They weren't paid. They basically took a huge gamble, a huge risk, worked on Bitcoin. And there's a saying, would you rather a good idea or good people? You would rather good people, because the wrong people can mess up a good idea. And that's where Bitcoin is. It's a lot of very intelligent people working on Bitcoin.
Stay informed with the state of Bitcoin and blockchain developments, news, and a comprehensive summary of price movements from technical and fundamental analysts with the Coin Corner monthly newsletter at coincompass.com/newsletter. While you're there, check out all our social media, video guides, ebooks, and webinars at coincompass.com/free.
I completely agree, Faris. And that's why VCs say they invest in people, they don't invest in companies or products. So we could take the Bitcoin code right now and make a copy of it and call it Bitcoin Gordon and Faris. But guess what? There's a grand community of two people. We are not great developers or academics or anything special. So you really have a coin that has the best people in the world working on it. And in my mind, it comes down to Bitcoin has value because of the reasons that Faris said before. But for me, it also has value because it's decentralized. And all these other alternative coins or altcoins, or Congress even called them shitcoins, they're not decentralized. What does that mean? Now, not to pick on Ethereum or some of the other altcoins, but if the SEC or a three-letter agency didn't like Ethereum or something happened, they could simply send an email, go around to the address of the Ethereum Foundation, or go to Vitalik himself and say, yeah, you know what, that Ethereum thing, we don't really like it. We want you to stop doing that right now. But guess what? Bitcoin doesn't have a CEO, doesn't have an office, doesn't have a marketing department. There's no one to contact or call. So apart from the fact that it is unstoppable and you can't control it, it is what is called decentralized, which I won't go into, but basically means it's the strongest and most secure coin out there. And all these other altcoins, sure, they innovate, but really the value of all these altcoins is in their marketing hype. And you really got this myth of technological innovation that kind of gives it value, and they sort of pump basically on that price.
Yeah, and that's a really good point. And what we found in the last few years now is a lot of these other coins that have come up, their targeting, their marketing was, we can do this and Bitcoin can't. And they did it very quickly and they crashed and burned. Whereas with Bitcoin, and as Gordon will say, Bitcoin is slow by design in that they don't rush to implement new products. They don't rush to implement a new software. They take their time to do it properly because, yeah, they're not answering to a CEO. It is looking at, a quarterly deadline. It is incredibly safe and robust. It is now the blockchain is the safest currency, is the safest store of assets that humanity's actually ever known. And I know we've just said a lot in there, but yeah, the premise of what, Gordon's saying, what we're saying is that it is very safe, it is very robust. It's been around for 10 years. All these other coins were piggybacking off the idea. And I think a good example we've used in the past is when you think of a domain name .com, as a business, we really struggled to get, a .com domain name. We ended up having to buy, I think, CoinCompass.com, didn't we?
That's quite a bit.
And that's what you find. We didn't have to. We could have gone .io. You could have gone .co.nz, .com.au. But everyone wants the .com because that's what's recognizable. That's what has the network effect. And that's what Bitcoin is. Bitcoin is a .com. Everything else, kind of falls by the wayside. Doesn't have that network effect.
And last but not least, we've actually recorded a podcast on altcoins. So I will link that in the description. I just haven't uploaded it yet. So if you want to find out more information, check that podcast out because we actually go into quite in-depth details in terms of the economics, game theory, and technicals between Bitcoins and all other altcoins. So check that out in the description of the show notes.
Well, I think, Gordon, we'll cut it there. We've got a tendency to run over time, and we are trying to stay under 10 minutes for these Bitcoin in 30-day series.
Couldn't agree more. So Bitcoin and 4,099 other altcoins, some of them have merit, some of them are got great technicals, but at the end of the day, Bitcoin is the one that has the most value because it has the most community behind it. It's the most secure and it's the most decentralized. So why on earth would you want to invest or do anything else with any other altcoins?
Cool. Thank you, Gordon. Well put.
Thanks, Faris. Until next time, everyone, day 2 of 30 is over. Thanks for watching or listening. Please visit coincompass.com/free to register to our socials and discover other free content. Subscribing, liking, and following helps this content remain ad-free. Until next time.